Hi readers, welcome to my channel. I'm Lori. This is Books, Ink, and Paper, and for today this is one of my libraries. I end up now with stacks of books in many of the rooms in our house because of the last foster dog that we had. So I am starting to look at my book inventory, which has also made me start to look at my backlist, which is also making me look at my backlist of Book of the Month Club books. While I haven't been feeling well this week, I have been reading and I have been considering, like, how am I going to tackle this list of 16 titles that I have not read from Book of the Month? And I have read a number of Book of the Month Club books since I started this membership, but clearly I'm not keeping up with the pace in which I am buying them. So today I'm going to share with you a brief synopsis of each of these books that are still left for me to read and rate on Book of the Month. And then I'm going to hopefully come up with a plan to tackle this and maybe a plan to read a couple this month. I just finished 2 books this month already, and they were both really great. And I'm looking forward to something else that's really great. But I'm also like, do I need to step out of these genres? Do I need to go to something light and fluffy? Like, I don't know. These are the problems of a booktuber. You know what else is frustrating? I recorded this video already in my mind, but not on my computer. So I went through the whole entire thing without being on record. That's what happens when you've not been feeling quite yourself this week. All right, here we go. Dark Corners, Megan Golden, a new release. I think it's not quite out yet, but if it is, it's very new. This is a thriller, so I cannot read it right away. This follows the Rachel Crawl series sort of now. This is the second, and a man is in prison, and a woman who's an influencer for whatever reason goes to visit the said man in prison. And then I think the influencer goes missing, and Rachel Crawl is asked to help solve this case. I've heard lots of people love it. I've heard some people think it is horrible. So I don't know, but I can't read it yet. The only one left, Riley Sager, obviously horror. Lots of people have talked about this. I've talked about it recently too. You know it. It's the Lizzie Borden retelling. She is not able to speak, but she can look at you and she can type, and she tells her guardian the story of how her family was murdered. Gothic, home, horror, hit and miss for a lot of people. Just came out in, I don't know, last month maybe. Yeah, because I skipped this month. Just came out in July. Magnolia Palace. I did a catch-up-a-thon, read-a-thon, try a chapter. This was one of them. I decided to look at this month, so it is on my plan to read this one this month of August. Fiona Davis, dual timeline, historical fiction, always centers on a place in New York City. Always a delight. So I'm hoping to get to that one now. This one came out in January of 2022, July of 2023. Another new one for me. The Connollys of County Down, family saga, Irish family. Woman comes out of prison, reunites with her siblings, one brother, one sister. They all kind of unpack their lives and their family dynamics. Love Tracy Lang. Really excited about that one. Could read that this month because that is not a thriller. This Close to Okay by Lisa Cross Smith. These are in no particular order because let me tell you, this is the one that's been on my backlist the longest. This one came out in December of 2020. I never got to it. This is a story about a therapist, contemporary fiction. Tally Clark is in Kentucky. She's recently divorced. On her way home from work, she discovers a man on the bridge about to jump. She talks him down and she takes him in, or takes him into her life. We're not really sure. She is a therapist. I don't think he realizes that for a while. They both kind of unpack their lives in this sort of contemporary drama saga. Sounds really good to me. I could read that this month for sure because it is not a thriller. How many times do you think I'm going to say that in this video? If you were a drinking game kind of a person, you could take a shot every time I do, I guess. What's Mine and Yours by Naima Coster. I mean, I'm not encouraging you to drink at all, but this one I did talk about in the catch-up-a-thon video that I did too. It starts out with a man who owns a bakery and he's trying to get some coverage by a newspaper or a television, and I can't remember which, and he has a girlfriend who's There's something going on with her for sure, but she's studying, she's in college, and she has a child, and he's really protective of this child. Something really tragic happens though, and then we follow the life of this child, and I think the mom, and I don't know what all happens and how it unfolds, but it goes through a couple of different continents, and it's contemporary fiction as well, and it got a really good amount of buzz for this plot. New author to me, but I could read that too because it's not a thriller. I'm not going to say it again. I swear to goodness. The Lincoln Highway, Amor Tolls. I want to read something by Amor Tolls in this lifetime. I've had this since October of 2021. It's a chunker, which is probably why I haven't gotten to it. Lots of people love it. Emmett is driving to Nebraska. He just got out of prison. He's picking up his brother Billy, and then discovers that in the car, or in Billy's car, there are two other men, and they come out, and apparently a saga begins here too. It says it is told from multiple points of view, a multi-layered literary styling while providing the characters, the reader, an array of new and richly imagined settings, characters, and themes. Sounds good to me. Why I haven't gotten to it, I don't know. Could do that. Could also do The Family, Naomi Krupitsky. Had this for a bit as well because it came out in November of 2021. I think I started this one, but I didn't get very far into it. I was in kind of a all over the place reading in 2021. I was just not able to settle. 2021 was a chaotic year for me. Anyway, you don't care about that. You care about this family. Two women from two different families, organized crime kind of a situation. Friendships and evolve, and also families evolve. And I don't know, drama, saga sounds great to me. I love books about organized crime. The London Seance Society by Sarah Penner. This would be my second read by Sarah Penner. I really enjoyed the first one. This came out in March of 2023, so it's fairly new. It's a beautiful cover, right? Vaudeline Dallaire, I don't know, I'm not French. She conjures spirits and does seances, and a young woman comes to her to find out what happened in her sister's death, I think. Yes, and she wants answers, and they are maybe going to solve this together. It sounds like a combination of thriller, horror, historical fiction. Not going to say it. Andy Weir, Project Hail Mary. I could read this month. I love Andy Weir's first book, The Martian. This is sci-fi. A man wakes up on a ship. He's been cryogenically put to sleep, I guess. Is that a thing? Is it cryogenic sleep? I don't know. Anyway, he doesn't know anything at first, and slowly kind of memories of his life unfold, and I suspect he has to save himself from whatever predicament he happens to be in space. I love sci-fi. I haven't read sci-fi in a while. That could be a possibility. Razorblade Tears, S.A. Cosby. This was the Book of the Month finalist for 2021, or the Book of the Year, sorry. So I got this one free. If you're a member of Book of the Month, you get a couple free books a year, including that Book of the Year finalist, and also one on your birthday month, I think. So I should have one coming up soon. Nevertheless, this one follows two men who are ex-convicts, black man and a white man, who both have sons who are married. They're gay, obviously. The sons were murdered, and they are trying to solve their murder because nobody else seems to care what happened to those men. So they go on a road trip, and I don't know why I haven't read that. I do know why I haven't read Age of Vice, Deepti Kapoor. I gave it a shot. As you know, if you're a long-time subscriber to my channel, tried this earlier this year in a 5-star prediction with my friends Sarah and Lindsay at their respective booktube channels. You've heard me talk about them before, but I might get back to this. Also organized crime set in India. One of the main characters is a man named, what is his name? Ajay is his name, and Ajay's story is at least the beginning of this, but I think there must be more to it. I might get to it. Not this month, though. The Whispers, Ashley Audrain. I always try to call her Ashley Audrain. This was a new release. I just got this, I think, last month. I love this cover. I thought this was a thriller, but I am now hearing from people who've read it that it is really not. It's contemporary fiction. And indeed, it says that on the flap. So this one is a very chilling contemporary fiction. A neighborhood barbecue. Everybody is outside having a good time eating, probably drinking. A boy falls from his bedroom window and he's in a coma, and the mother is sitting with him and not speaking to anyone else, obviously terribly aggrieved, possibly something she didn't do, like maybe lock the window, I don't know. And the rest of the neighborhood women are sort of battling and grappling with their own internal reaction to this and their own relationship to family. And it sounds really good. I probably could read that this month because it is billed as contemporary fiction. I've heard pretty good stuff about this one. I think I only know one person that wasn't a fan. The Postmistress of Paris by Meg Waite-Clayton, who is one of my favorite historical fiction authors from years before I was on BookTube. This was one of my most highly anticipated reads. Ask me why I haven't gotten to it. I have no idea. No idea. It is a wealthy, beautiful character named Nane that opens up this book. She is a pilot, and she is flying around and in a joiner of the resistance. She's known as the postmistress because she delivers information to those who are hiding. So she's passing, I guess, letters and different things. It is based on a real story about a real woman who did this. I did to the Try chapter. I didn't choose it for my next read, and I'm not sure why. I'm not sure what is holding me back from getting to this one. No idea. Also did a Try chapter of this one, The Devil Takes You Home by Gabino Iglesias. This even has it's in English, but it's translated, so it has a guide to the translations and to some other things, which I appreciate. I did also do a Try chapter of this for the book Catch-Up-a-thon Book of the Month Try chapter challenge. This man's daughter is dying of leukemia or some sort of cancerous disease. His name is Mario. She is needing lots of treatment. He doesn't have the money for it. He finds a way to make the money for it, which is not legal, and he is going to carry out a job that he's been asked to do for a bunch of money, and that will either happen for him or it will not. I'm sure this is twisty-turny. It also has a possible hint of horror in it. Gabino Iglesias is a member of the Horror Writers Association, but he also writes mysteries, so perhaps it's a combination of the two. But nevertheless, I have not heard a lot of people have been reading this. Maybe I'm just missing it, but I do think it sounds interesting. This cover is really super creepy. I don't know if you can see this guy's face, but it's like, yeah, it's a good cover. And then the last one is also horror, gothic horror, The Hacienda by Isabel Cañas. I started this. I got this far. I didn't finish it. It wasn't like a DNF for me fully yet, although I do notice now that I'm telling you that as a result of Age of Vice 2, I don't like to DNF Book of the Month Club books. I'm not sure why they hold that sway in that way over me, but they do. This character's name is Beatrice, and her father is killed, and a man named Rodolfo comes in to marry her and to create safety for her. As a result, I think Rodolfo might have had some link to the people that killed her dad. It is set in a space where, in that space in San Isidro, it was a very difficult time. It was during the Mexican War of Independence, so a lot of people were in the fighting and the action in that space. But anyway, Rodolfo takes her to his home, and he leaves her there essentially so that he can carry on whatever jobs it is that he has as a result of the war. And she is not comfortable in this house, and lots of creepy things are happening, and she's trying to figure out how to stop this. I think, as I last recall, there was the possibility of meeting with a priest when I was reading it. So it sounds right up my street, right? And horror, and yeah, oh my gosh. But again, I haven't gotten to it. May of 2022. I've had this since then, and here it is. So that is my list of 16 books I need to rate for the book of the month and to get caught up, to read myself to zero, if you will, with my book of the month club reads. I have no idea how to tackle this. I could do one a month. It feels like not enough, but also thinking about the other books I'm acquiring, it feels like just right. I could do a TBR jar and pull out a title each month and just read whatever it tells me to read. I could DNF the ones I don't think I'm going to maybe finish. I could listen to some of them maybe on audiobook. You know, Book of the Month Club books, when they first come out, now you can purchase them on audiobook through Book of the Month, which I might start doing because honestly, they're taking up a lot of space, right? But when they first come out, they're not usually available on audiobook, and I'm not sure why. If there's some sort of restriction as a result of the partnership, I don't know. But sometimes in the later times they are, and then sometimes I can get them from my library on audio as well. So I may look for that so that I could maybe do 2 a month if I read one and listened to one. But, you know, I typically read about 5 or 6 books a month, and I really am trying to focus on this backlist, which is why I skipped the month of August. But, you know, September is going to be my free birthday book month. I don't know. I don't know, you guys. I don't know. All I know is I can't read a thriller this month. I'd love your help on understanding how I'm going to tackle this backlist. If it involves you giving me, like, say, $1 million so I don't have to work for the rest of the next few years, I feel like that would also work. But, you know, that's probably not going to happen. But maybe you have some sort of a strategy that you get more books read, or you know, get really intentional about this. I think it is just a matter of being intentional about it and creating a stack, which I have done in a bookcase. I've created a row of the books that I have not read yet from Book of the Month. Yeah, just kind of look at that, be intentional about that, and then we'll see where we are in maybe 8 months from now, or a year from now, or I don't know. I'll check back in at some point and let you know how I progress. But please send me any suggestions you have whatsoever about how I can tackle this giant stack of Book of the Month Club reads. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining me. If you're not a Book of the Month Club member, there is a link in the description box below. I do get a free book, I think, if you sign up. So I don't want you to feel like you've been coerced into doing anything. There's no obligation on your part to join Book of the Month Club. But I have to say, genuinely from the bottom of my heart, I love this book club because I can skip, and because they typically do have new releases, usually a month early, and they usually have a book that I really want to read, and in some cases they have more than one. They're pretty current, they're pretty imaginative in terms of featuring authors that you might not have heard of. And imaginative is not the word. Creative, I guess. They're doing a lot of research, I suppose, too. But thanks for bearing with me during my still recovering phase from whatever virus this is that I currently have. And as always, happy reading. I don't know how I'm going to make a stack for a photo of this. I just do not even know. Bye.